Between Irvine and Oregon, the Ducks have won the last three and lead the all-time series 4-2, and the Ducks win the tap. Casey Benson, the freshman from Phoenix, Arizona, has it for the Ducks.
Expect to see a lot of zone from UCI. They're going to make Oregon prove they can shoot from the outside and score from the outside. Oregon runs nice zone offensive stuff. They need to be patient, make sure they get the shots that are given to them.
And here's Benson. They had the skip pass. That's one way to break that zone.
Longer the ball doesn't go down against the zone, the more success the zone feels like they can have with it, the longer they're likely to stay with it.
Here's Jaron Martin. He was a walk-on last year, granted the scholarship this year, and this is his fourth career start. Alex Young, the Oregon native. Tight defense for the Ducks. The timer's at 7. And how about Casey Benson coming in front of John Ryan?
Yeah, he's going to have to front. That was a mismatch. Oregon, good, solid man-to-man team. They have a capability of switching because of the size they have. Really no pure big guy on the floor for Oregon.
4 seconds to shoot for Irvine. Travis Souza. And a shot clock violation. You can join the conversation on Twitter right now. Use the hashtag UCI versus UO. A lot of times along with that zone, they'll use a diamond and one. You can bet the one would be on Joe Young.
No question. So Irvine playing pretty much a 2-3 zone. You can imagine what they look like with that Ninja in the middle at 7'6", daring you to go inside. John Ryan is big, but nothing like what Ninja is inside. But they're going to force you to play from the perimeter and play outside. That's smart.
Mamadou Njai on the bench. They expect he'll be back for their final non-conference game later this week. He's been out with a sprained foot since November 30th. And the Ducks turn it over. Each team with a turnover in the early going. Mamadou Njai, the tallest player in the NCAA, 7'6". Here's Alex Young. Elgin Cook with the board. Ducks look to push. Dwayne Benjamin, boom!
Can't get back in the zone on missed shots as easily, but that's the advantage that Oregon has. All of the starters can push the ball on the break. No pure center out there, all guard forward type players.
So a little bit of an advantage to being a shorter team. There's Travis Souza. Very rarely shoots it from inside the arc. That's just his 14th career field goal among 109 from inside the perimeter. Travis Souza.
See Oregon looking to push even on made baskets, trying to get down the floor and get a shot before the Anteaters get set.
Young left wide open and cans it. You can't give him a breath.
That's good ball movement. 4 out on Oregon's part against the zone. Forward on that side stayed down. Should have come up. Got to know your personnel that you're playing against.
Here's Alex Young. He's a junior. UC Irvine was here last year. The Ducks throttled them. Jaron Martin and Dwayne Benjamin, the top rebounder on the team, pulls it down for the Ducks. Mighty Joe pulls up and cans it. He's got 5.
Not transitioning back in the zone nearly well enough. You have to give up some offensive rebounds in order to get back in the zone, but you can't give those kinds of shots up to Oregon. They'll thrive on that.
The Ducks, like Colorado, love to push the ball, and other teams have figured out how to stop the Buffs by keeping 2 or 3 players back.
Yeah, you can't send people to the glass. Both times, Ryan and Will Davis have gone to the offensive glass after the rebound has already been secured. You can't do that. You got to get back.
First foul on either team. It's on Jaron Martin, the sophomore from Sunland, California. There's Mamadou Njai, the tallest player in NCAA basketball. They expect that he'll be back in a couple of days, New Year's Eve, as they host Hampton-Sydney. And if not then, against New Mexico State on January 3rd. John Ryan. And we got a whistle and a foul. And it's Dwayne Benjamin.
John Ryan running down the floor, beating the defense down. That's a good call. Got the arm. You wouldn't expect John Ryan to beat Oregon down the floor. Thought it might have been a shooting foul, but.
Lob underneath. Great idea to Will Davis II, but he couldn't finish. Can Joe Young? Long rebound, Jaron Martin. Anteaters look to push.
No numbers, no advantage. Slow it down. You got to get good shots.
Alex Young around the Ryan Ball screen. Right now, Irvine ice cold from the floor. Dwayne Benjamin left open. Weak side board out of bounds, and it'll go to UC Irvine.
So you've seen 4 different Ducks rebound the ball and push out on the break, which makes it really hard to get back in transition defense. They're really kind of equal opportunity players for Oregon. Benson, who you'd assume would be the lead guard, hasn't really handled it on the push yet.
Dana Altman tells his team when you take it on the run, all you need is one of the opponents to not get back.
And they can outrun John Ryan down the floor. That's the advantage that they have.
Will Davis. Elgin Cook with the rebound.
Finally, Benson gets it on the push.
Irvine now 1 of 8 from the floor. Dwayne Benjamin against Ryan. Nice job to use his body, Mike.
Yeah, they don't really have an inside player. He just snuck behind the zone and went into contact and finished it up. Don't know what Oregon will do against a good quality big guy, but right now with these 5 perimeter type players, it's really to their advantage.
Now we haven't seen Michael Chandler, their lone big presence at 6'10", but he will be playing his 4th game when he enters. Dwayne Benjamin and the Oregon Ducks trying to improve to 10-3 in the NCAA and 10th in assists. So all the way around, this team has been very good.
Yeah, they're playing with that, again, that smaller lineup that are all very good in terms of ball handling type players. Even, I mean, Cook at 6'6", who's your 4-man, pushes out on the break. He handles, he's a good athletic jumper on the boards. Now if Jordan Bell has entered the game, that'd be their, basically the equivalent low post guy for them. Shot blocker deluxe.
Excellent defensive player out of Southern California, Long Beach Poly, and UC Irvine knows Jordan Bell well. He would come to open gym at Irvine when he was at Long Beach Poly. Irvine continues with that zone. They will use it a lot. Giannis Demokopoulos, 7'2" from Greece into the game for Irvine. Jordan Bell goes up, and Will Davis comes out with it.
There's the advantage of having a big 7'2" player in there, no place to go. Of course, you're talking about a freshman Bell's inexperience. That's the best way to get back on defense and get to a zone and get your defense set is to make shots. When you're missing shots and the other team's running out on you, particularly a team like Oregon, you got problems.
Just the 2nd field goal for Irvine. Jaron Martin, 57% on threes coming in, hits it. Dylan Brooks over Demokopoulos, and Dylan Brooks gets his first bucket.
Size didn't bother him there, just took him on. He's an inside-outside player, pretty impressive. Highly recruited, highly thought of.
Maud Rory into the game for the Ducks. Here's Demokopoulos. Not a great offensive presence, but he gets that one to fall. Giannis Demokopoulos averaging 2.2 points a game and just 1 rebound. But he'll get more minutes with Mamadou Njai out, as he has been since the 30th of November. Nice move by Jordan Bell, but he couldn't finish.
No, and that the big guy should have stayed in, let him shoot that ball. Bell's not real polished offensively yet. Great shot blocker, rebounder, but offensively struggles just a little bit.
Travis Souza. Rebound Elgin Cook. Here's Dylan Brooks. Nice no look. Bell goes up, lost it. Elgin Cook has it. Brooks' second effort gets it to fall.
Demokopoulos is tired already. You can see he's laboring up and down the floor. Doesn't play a lot of minutes.
Averages 7 minutes a game. The 7'2" center for Irvine. Giannis Demokopoulos is calling for it momentarily, being fronted by Jordan Bell. Jaron Martin trying to create his own shot. Davis got it. 13-9 Oregon. Ducks did have a 9-2 lead.
You're down a couple players. If you're Irvine, 2 of your best players, you're on the road. You've got to be patient. Bad shots will just lead to runouts.
And a foul on Dylan Brooks. That's his first as he turned and elbowed his defender. That's the Ducks' second turnover.
Third big guy in. Best comes in for Irvine.
Mike Best, a 6'10 junior from San Rafael, California, Terra Linda High School.
He has started some games for them. Early on, they liked him.
Aaron Wright into the game for UC Irvine. As Best sets the pick. Demakopoulos guns it for three and didn't draw iron. Demakopoulos now 3 of 6. In fact, 1 of 10 on three-pointers this year. So he will put it up from outside the 7-2, Giannis Demakopoulos. Poor pass by Elgin Cook. Turnover on the Ducks. That's their third. Dylan Brooks, 4 points for the Ducks. And the second bucket came.
A little bit of a surprise to everybody. That's what he does best. And he started off, I think, with 7 or 9 blocks in his first game. Pretty incredible.
He chose the Ducks because he likes the way they use their bigs in transition. It's the second turnover on UC Irvine. Casey Benson back in the game for Oregon. They've got both their freshman point guards in there, and Benson and Rory against that 2-3 zone.
You've got to locate Joseph Young. That's your primary concern. Everybody's got to know where Young is.
Here he is. They pick him up real quick, and it's batted away by Wright. Back to Wright, and he finishes.
Turnovers for baskets, boy, that's the bane of the coach. You can't, just kills you.
Probably makes you sweat just sitting there.
It does.
Which work along with future Hall of Fame coach, if you don't mind me saying, Mike Montgomery.
Do you have a vote?
If I did.
Just got a little careless with the ball, dished the ball ahead, avoided the contact. Good job on the 2-on-1 break.
Young doesn't turn it over much. His assist-to-turnover ratio is excellent.
Irvine playing with 2 big guys now. Best and Demakopoulos in there, 7'2", 6'10".
John Ryan at 6'10" started. He's been on the bench. Dominic Dunning into the game for UC Irvine as well. Ahmad Rory. Demakopoulos the rebound.
Good decision by Wright. Saw he didn't have numbers, no percentage, nothing high percentage, so he backs it out and runs set offense.
Off the hand of Demakopoulos and out of bounds. Third turnover for the Anteaters.
I'm not sure about that entry pass. I haven't seen enough of the Demakopoulos to see if he can score back to basket in there, and Bell's been an awful good shot blocker. Now, Coach Turner knows him from having played pickup, so maybe he thinks he can score against him inside, but
Demakopoulos out. John Ryan back in for UC Irvine. Starting post player. Young left open by Martin. Rattles out. Rebound Mike Best. Wright pushing the ball. Nice spin
play.
move.
Just attack right back.
Irvine on an 11-4 run. The Ducks had a 9-2 lead at the outset.
They're able to get back in the zone. The zone has bothered Oregon. When they're able to get back in transition, it's been pretty good.
Second effort for Dylan Brooks, and one for the freshman.
UCI wanted to get out on the break, and they didn't have the ball. It's fun to break, but it's a lot more fun when you have the ball.
Fouls on John Ryan, his first. The team has a player with more than one foul. 9:41 to go here, first half. Dylan Brooks, good free throw shooter. 82% coming in.
Yeah, he's just been steady in every asset of the game. This is what Oregon will do on free throws, and you have to know that coming in. Free throws, dead ball, out of timeout, they're going to change defenses. Here they jump to a 3-2, three-quarter court press. Generally known as a pester press, not really designed to turn you over, just kind of designed to get you thinking, take tempo. If you get careless, they'll steal it.
Foul on Casey Benson was his first, third team. Alex Young, their leading scorer, who's playing, and he got fouled, and that's Dylan Brooks.
People watching probably don't understand that call. Typically, as much contact as there is in college basketball, but there's been a huge emphasis on forearms and redirecting, rerouting, if you will. They call that every time. Drives coaches nuts. You can see Dana kind of smiling, but this is what the officials have been told to call.
Young on the run. Rebound Cook. Dylan Brooks comes out with 2 fouls. Michael Chandler into the game for the first time. Here's Jordan Bell. Benson against Dunning. Skips it out to Joe. Elgin Cook spins on Ryan.
Nice rebound inside.
By Dominique Dunning.
Irvine not afraid to push it, take it down, attack seams, create contact.
Irvine, the preseason favorite to win the Big West. They returned 4 starters from a 13-3 team last year. Underneath to Ryan.
There's a block right there. Alternate possession goes back to Irvine. That's just where Ryan can't elevate above Bell, and took it right into him right here. Bell just waits and has his hand on the ball. Should have used the other side of the rim to protect it from Bell.
UC Irvine, by the way, 1 of 6 on threes. Their last 2 games, they have lit it up from the beyond the arc. 18 of 31 in their 2 wins last week over Bradley and Green Bay as they won the South Point Holiday Hoops Classic in Las Vegas. Here's Best, long 2, drains it.
There's a 6'10" 4-man hitting a jumper off an inbounds play.
Ducks by 1.
Coach Turner's got good mileage off the bench so far. Guys coming in and playing.
Elgin Cook sealed off. Bell finds Benson. Now Young. Ahmad Rory. Foot on the 2-point arc. 3-point line, I should say. And the rebound for John Ryan.
Anteaters kind of settled in here a little more comfortable right now. Feel pretty good about themselves.
See how the Ducks respond. Ball screen set by Ryan. Back to him, and he puts it in.
Good pick and roll right there. They doubled the on-ball screen. Guy rolled right down. Oregon did not get weak side help.
UC Irvine with a 1-point lead. Their first of the game.
Oregon going to screen the zone up top a little bit.
Benson. And on the rebound, a foul, and I believe it's against Jordan Bell. It is. Irvine taking their first lead of the game. Pick and roll to John Ryan. And a 17-16 Anthony Josh Hawkinson, 2 of the top performers in the Pac-12. And Josh Hawkinson of Washington State. What a turnaround for him. The sophomore averaged about 2 points a game last year. 15.7 this year. He's been a force offensively and rebounding.
Yeah, new coach, obviously take advantage of it. Josh just was patient last year. He's going to have his hands full in the Bay now. He's going to have to come down on the road, play against 2 good Pac-12 teams. Be interested to see if he can get those numbers there.
Ernie Kent was in your seat last year. He said he did a couple of Washington State games and went to shoot-arounds and watched Josh Hawkinson, and he was wondering, why isn't this guy getting more minutes?
Josh, very skilled player. You know, he's like most big guys, young big guys. He's not overly athletic, but he's got great hands and he really understands the game. Now Chandler in the game, going to screen the high guy in the zone. Irvine doing a nice job of finding and locating Joseph Young, not letting him get free looks inside, outside.
Let's see if they can keep it up. 9 on the timer. Cook. Now Benjamin. 4 to shoot. Dwayne Benjamin drains it.
Well, you can live with that shot. That's a nice play by Benjamin, but that shot's not going to probably beat you consistently over 40 minutes.
You're saying if you're UC Irvine, you can live with that shot.
Absolutely. You're comfortable with that. That's the shot you're getting. There's a nice little play. I'd tell you what that was, but then I'd have to kill you. That's called the hammer. Russ picked it up in the NBA as I learned it from Greg Popovich and George Karl. Backside screen drive baseline.
Canned by Travis Souza, Russell Turner, head coach of UC Irvine, a former assistant of my broadcast partner Mike Montgomery at Stanford, and with the Golden State Warriors. Put back by Michael Chandler, his first bucket.
One thing that concerns me that Oregon's been able to do is they've been able to drive the baseline against the zone a little too much for my taste, which causes help situations, and thus Oregon's been able to get some second shot opportunities when they've had to help.
Poor pass by Souza, taken away, and here come the Ducks. Young gets fouled by Jaron Martin. That's his second. Here's Travis Souza, who's a three-point shooter par excellence.
Drive baseline, your best shooter gets a backside screen. Typically the defender falls asleep, and there he is in the corner. It's a drive and drift.
From a guy who does not attack the basket. 95 of his 108 career field goals coming into tonight from beyond the arc. Travis Souza.
Nice little drift, little floater.
That was Elgin Cook.
Yeah, little teardrop they call it.
Young defending Young with Joe on Alex. And now Davis against Elgin Cook. Will Davis the second forces that one into the bucket.
Will Davis has a size advantage. He's from Sacramento, California. He's been a nice player over the years. Just used his size to get to the middle and shoot right over the top.
Rebounder on UC Irvine. Nice touch pass from Cook. Dwayne Benjamin. Joe Young over Davis. They're now 1 for 3 on threes.
Demokopoulos didn't really have to jump. He just reached up and tapped it to himself. If you're 7'2", you can do that. Rich, you and I couldn't do that.
Giannis Demokopoulos from Patra, Greece.
Might have got away with an offensive foul there with the off arm.
Aaron Wright with the bucket for UC Irvine.
Nice take, though. Irvine staying consistently aggressive.
Ducks led by 7 early on at 9-2. UC Irvine took their first lead at 17-16. 3:58 to go first half. 2-point anteater lead. Elgin Cook. Shooter's touch.
That baseline is the opening in the zone that typically you're going to get. The forward has to take the wing, and you drop it down on the short corner baseline. The one thing about the zone, though, Rich, it doesn't go away. You're going to have to continue to play and move the ball and be patient, unless you can get out on the break.
Foul on the screen on Will Davis. It'll go back to the Ducks. Here's Aaron Wright getting a couple for Irvine. Against Toledo. Ducks women's hoops against Seattle, and then sights and sounds from the Rose Bowl. Toledo was here back on November the 21st. The Ducks beat them. That was Dana Altman's 100th win as Ducks head coach.
Pretty impressive start for Coach Altman. He's a proven coach. He's been successful wherever he's been. I've been to 2 practice shoot-arounds when I've come up to games, and he's good. I mean, he really is thorough. Makes guys do what they're supposed to do, and if they're not doing it, they're out of there. It's part of his motivation with the starting lineup.
Yep, Altman very much on top of things, and he's just 7 wins shy of the Ducks' record for wins in any 5 consecutive seasons. Reverse jam on the lob from Benson to Dwayne Benjamin. Oh, Mike, I love me some Pac-12 hoops.
Yeah, well, that's just good play that's good coaching, just what we were talking about. Coming out of a timeout with a special and just a back screen, typical zone special, back screen lob on the weak side. They've got a high flyer to do it.
And Will Davis answers to retie the game.
If Irvine's able to get back in the zone consistently, this game will stay close. If Irvine takes good shots, because it's going to be hard for Oregon to get away from them and have to play against his zone all night long.
Here's Dwayne Benjamin for 3. Boy, they'd like him to take a lot of those shots. UC Irvine.
Yeah, although percentage-wise, he's been really good. Well, I take that back. He's 24% from 3, so I misspoke there. You're right.
7 of 30 this year. There's Demokopoulos. Foul called against Michael Chandler.
you
Hey, how
watch
about this
thing,
one for your Pac-12
see
12
that back
best
screen
nominee?
over there? Forwards up, and he just goes right behind. He turns. The center should have stepped down, but that's hard for the center to recognize.
By the way, if you want to be part of our conversation on Twitter, it's hashtag UCI versus UO. Yimakopoulos.
He's just a big guy, long arms. He just turned and just got big hands. He's having actually a better game than he's had. Coach Turner must know more than obviously he does. He coaches these kids, but they're trying to go to him. They're trying to get that matchup.
Irvine playing without their top two scorers. Mamadou Njai batted away by right to Young. Here's Alex Young, the Oregonian. D'Souza trying to draw the foul, and he almost hit the shot anyway. They didn't give him the foul.
No, that's referee. This referee crew's not. You're not going to beg one from them. You're going to have to earn it.
Also, Luke Nelson, not here, not available to play for UC Irvine. The native of England. One of the best young players to come from Great Britain in a long time. And he's out with an injury to his face, taken away by Elgin Cook.
Just careless passing right now. Anticipated that.
And a technical foul has been called against the Ducks' Elgin Cook, I believe.
Just trying to keep things under control. I don't know what was said, but I think he might have jumped back up in his face just a little bit. Official's not going to allow that to go on.
Personal foul, number 1, Alex Young. That's his
Little
first
contact there. I think he probably
foul.
took offense to that. Ooh. Really trying to prevent anything from happening that would escalate to something. Not allowing players to get in people's faces to say anything. You know, on the playgrounds, or if you go to the gym in off season, things get pretty heated, but they're not going to allow that to happen on the floor out here. Got a pretty veteran officiating crew here.
Personal foul and a team foul.
Officials Dave Hall, Vern Harris, Randy McCall, Elgin Cook. 2 years ago led Northwest Florida State to the Junior College National Championship game. Here it is again.
So you had a personal foul right there. Then apparently he calls a technical foul there. So here's the two technical foul shots.
And the first one missed by Souza, who's an 81%er coming in. Now 13 of 17 this year. Cook comes out. Ahmad Rory comes in.
A little dead ball technical foul, so Irvine gets the 2 foul shots and the ball.
Foul on the other end was on Alex Young, his first. Young left open over Joseph
Very
Young.
nice
He
looking
drains
shot.
it.
Nice looking play coming out of, again, a dead ball situation. Irvine well coached as well as the Ducks.
Chandler with the ball screen. It's like UC Irvine zone.
Like I say, it's not going to go away. Oregon's going to have to be patient, and they're going to have to solve it. Well, right off his foot right there. Joseph Young probably trying to do a little too much here. Irvine, if they're smart, will take last shot here, let it run down.
Hey, coming up with Ashley Adamson in studio on our State Farm halftime report. Top 25 action. Take a look at number 2 Duke against Toledo. And then the Ducks women against Seattle U. And sights and sounds from the Rose Bowl.
The Rose Bowl is, boy, sure going to be exciting coming up with the Ducks.
We finally have a college football playoff, thank heavens.
How long are we going to be at 4, Rich, do you think?
Oh, I think 3 years, and then they'll move it to 8, and I think we're destined for 16. A lot of people disagree with me. Eventually
I would
we'll get
agree
there.
with you. I think they're going to move it as quickly as they can. Too much money involved.
It's an 8-0 run for the Anteaters to take a 6-point lead.
So they've got to make sure that they get the last shot. They cannot let Oregon get a possession. Good attack by Young. Really smart play right there.
Alex Young, it's fouled by Jordan Bell.
With 2.7 and a shooting foul. kind of victimized Jordan Bell a couple times out here. You can see Bell a little less experienced as a freshman. He rises looking for that shot block. You've got to go straight up. Typically, Bell's waited for the ball to be released. That time he did not.
Alex Young, a 68%er from the free throw line. Expect a talented shooter like him to be better. Foul on Jordan Bell was his second. 2.7 ticks left. Makes the second. Casey Benson. Rattles
gets a look
out.
at it. Well, that's interesting first half. The start that Oregon got.
Yep, the Ducks started off with a 9. Jordan Bell, 2 fouls. Those are the only Ducks with more than one. And Jaron Martin of Irvine has 2 fouls, and no other Anteater has more than one. So no deep foul trouble for anybody yet.
But Brooks was out some minutes in the first half as a result of those 2 fouls, which is what coaches normally do. 2 fouls, you're out. They're not going to let you get a third in the first half.
22 on the timer as Benson inbounds it. Joseph Young. Rebound Souza. Martin, the former walk-on, attacking the basket. Jaron Martin at 5'10", maybe.
Yeah, that's being generous, Rich, but Oregon just fell asleep. Didn't get the right matchup stepping back, and Martin took advantage of it.
Alex Young got a hand in there. John Ryan came out with it. Another turnover on the Ducks. That is their 8th. Will Davis the second.
Nice start for Irvine coming out. Exactly what Dane Altman did not want to happen. He needs to get some momentum. Oregon has to be patient against this zone. The only thing that beats a good zone is good shots. Bad shots hurt you. Patience, ball movement, player movement, and attack inside, outside.
It was a rough day for the Pac-12 yesterday. What with Cal State Bakersfield beating Cal, Stony Brook knocking off Washington. Casey Benson, they need it, but it ain't happening.
Oregon looks a little bit tight. Well, there again is a matchup problem getting back down the floor, and Davis missed a bunny.
Elgin Cook for the Ducks, finding Benjamin. Ducks need something to turn it around.
Ooh, wait, there might have been.
Yeah, they were calling for a travel from the UCI bench. Russell Turner, air ball.
Oregon looks like they're aiming the ball rather than shooting it. They're not playing with a lot of confidence right now. There's the one guy that can do that for you.
And it rattled out twice. Joseph Young. Joseph Young, 2 of 9 from the floor. And he is 1 of 5 from beyond the perimeter. Taken away by Cook. Ducks need a spark. Who's going to give it to him? Dylan Brooks, high off the glass, gets it to fall. His 4th bucket.
So it's a freshman that comes in and makes a key play. Irvine has to play loose. They have to play with confidence, but they can't carelessly turn the ball over with bad decisions on passing, I should say.
As you said at halftime, Mike, UC Irvine has done a better job against the Ducks' man defense than the Ducks have done against UC Irvine's zone. What do the Ducks have to do to get some stops here?
Well, they got to get aggressive. They've just really got to try to turn Irvine over. And I made a reference to the fact that Irvine has a lot of veteran players. They've got seniors and juniors, whereas Oregon's playing with a lot of young players. Joseph Young being the only senior out there, and that makes a difference.
Here's Martin. Benjamin, the team leader in rebounds, comes down with it. Junior transfer, gets it off to Young. Skipped out to Brooks. He's got Benson to his right. Elgin Cook against Alex Young, puts it up over Ryan. Foul on John Ryan.
So they've attacked the zone in the seams the last 2 times. Irvine has not gotten square in the zone. They're into the paint. Just didn't go straight up. Should have gone straight up, make him shoot over the top of it. You got to make Oregon make shots against the zone. The objective of the zone is to keep the ball on the perimeter and don't give them any second opportunities.
Second foul on John Ryan. Elgin Cook, a 64%er coming in. Considered by some the best player coming out of Wisconsin in 2011. teammate there of Kevon Looney. Hamilton High School, Kevon Looney, the fine freshman for UCLA.
So they've got to try to turn Irvine over.
Before the shot went up, we got a foul, and it's against Dwayne Benjamin.
Jerron Martin's quickness is causing Oregon problems. He's getting into seams and dishing off, just attacking the pressure.
Second foul on Benjamin.
Smart play right there to let it go and not jump from the front court into the back court and get a violation.
By the former walk-on Jaron Martin, now a sophomore, awarded a scholarship this year, starting in place of Luke Nelson, out with a facial injury suffered in practice earlier this week.
Just as we were lauding Martin's decision-making, he goes in and takes a really tough shot over a bigger player. Get better shots in that, I think. That penetration usually creates shots for others. That's what he should be looking to do. Right there, he's over Cook. That's going to be a tough guy to shoot the ball over the top of on a drive. Your 5, what do you want to call him, Rich?
Well, he's listed at 5'10".
Okay,
We're
we'll
thinking
give him
maybe
10.
5'7", 5'8". Might be 5'10" in high heels. Fouls on Casey Benson, his second. John Ryan, small sample size, but a 69%er coming in. And Irvine now leads it by 9.
Oregon needs to get something going. They need some turnovers. They need some easy baskets. They need to create something off their defense because they're not doing a great job of attacking the zone. Zone has caused them problems.
Here's Ahmad Rory back into the game at the point. Line drive 3, and he hits it, the freshman from Tacoma.
That's a good start right there. Somebody has got to get to feeling it a little bit. Ahmad Rory is a good shooter. He does shoot a knuckleball.
You would know that well. Jaron Martin gunning it for 3. Tip up by Ryan, not good. And Joe Young chases it down, but falls down out of bounds.
A little bit of contact there, but no harm, no foul. Elgin Cook holding his eye. Might have got poked a little bit.
No harm, no foul. You were watching that Kentucky-Louisville game. And boy, did the officials
That was a lot
there.
of harm, no foul. That's the most physical game I think I've ever watched.
No
in college
blood,
basketball.
no foul. Huh?
Yeah, it was something. Well, blood, no foul. It was just, let's let them play. And those kids, to their credit, handled it well.
Is anybody beating Kentucky this year?
I think
They're as much of a favorite as anybody at this point in the season has been in the last 25 years.
I think so. Louisville at home, 4th-ranked team in the country, certainly would have the best opportunity, and they just didn't have much of a chance. That kid's tough.
Wow, Jaron Martin.
He is confident. Makes you wonder how somebody didn't scholarship him coming out. He's a pretty tough little player.
Out of Chaminade Prep in the San Fernando Valley near LA. Bell skips it out to Joe Young. They leave him open. He drains it. Maybe that's the spark the Ducks need.
Yeah, that's Joe Young's got to get going. He's the most likely candidate to put numbers up consistently. That was a mistake on Irvine in that zone. Well, now we're kind of, that's the last thing that they needed right there. Go right back out.
Boy, that would have really fired up this crowd here.
Yeah, it sure would have.
Three-pointer missed by Dylan Brooks. Out of bounds, 15-18 to go.
There's no way you commit 2 players to Jordan Bell on the baseline. He's a non-scorer. But when you do that, then the whole zone has to rotate, and there's your best shooter standing opposite, gets an inside-outside look. That's a mistake that Irvine can't make.
Ahmad Royer to inbound the ball for the Ducks. And, Coach, I said you knew him well because you recruited him at Cal, and he committed to you at Cal, and then decommitted. He got released from his letter of intent when you decided you were going to retire. Here's Joseph Young again. And the Ducks happy to have Ahmad Rory.
Yeah, he's a good player and a good kid. Solid, just going to get better. He's got to get a little more aggressive, I think, both offensively and defensively. Play a little harder, I think Dana Altman would tell you.
Here he is defending Alex Young, who finds Davis. Picked up by Demokopoulos. Second effort won't go.
Tried to run that hammer again, and they handled it well. Oregon didn't get burned twice on the same play.
For a young team, it's all about learning your lessons, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
The Ducks, a very young team. 4 freshmen in the rotation. Dwayne Benjamin. And he'll go to the free throw line.
Oregon doing a nice job now attacking that short corner in the zone. and the big guy's kind of getting lost. They're attacking behind the zone. Right there, he turns and spins. Big guy's just standing there kind of in no man's land, not really guarding anybody. You got to have somebody. Bounce pass behind the zone, Benjamin, potential three-point play.
Giannis Demokopoulos with the foul, his first. And Dwayne Benjamin, a 46% from the free throw line coming in. Now 10 of 23 from the line this year.
Just a slight change in momentum right now here. Picked up their defensive aggressiveness. Irvine now not getting the same shots they were getting earlier.
If you're UC Irvine, how do you counteract that, Mike?
Patience. Screens, make them have to play through a whole clock. See if they'll do that.
Five on the timer. Young in the air, won't fall. Bell the rebound.
A little bit of change right here. You can just feel it, you sense it.
A lot of it's happened since Ahmad Rory came into the game for the Ducks.
Got to be on the defensive end for Oregon. They've got to force Irvine out of good shots.
And as I say that, Rory throws it away.
Just a careless pass. You don't need to throw a bounce pass unless you need to throw it. Just make a straight pass.
9 turnovers on the Ducks. That's their second in the second half. Young against Young. No relation. Alex Young from 2.5 hours south of here, the tiny town of Phoenix, Oregon, just a little bit south of Medford.
A lot of pressure on Alex Young to handle the ball against a good defender, good athletic defender, Joseph Young.
Demokopoulos doubled underneath, and a 7-2 center from Greece puts it in.
Wow. Again, I'm not... Coach Turner must know more about him, because that's not where I would go necessarily to get a shot to break momentum, but nice job by the big fella.
He's hit 3 buckets in 4 attempts. Dylan Brooks doesn't get the roll, and Dunning comes down with a board. Here's Aaron Wright looking to push the ball. Stops, pops.
Gutsy shot. 2 on 4 did not have numbers.
Benjamin put back up and in by Dylan Brooks.
That's where Dylan Brooks has been good. He's been so versatile for them, rebounding on the glass.
Coach of the year. From 2000 to 2004, coached under my broadcast partner Mike Montgomery at Stanford. And then a couple of years, you guys were together at Golden State at Stanford. 2 of those years, you had the #1 ranked team in the country.
Yeah, Russ is doing a really nice job with this Irvine program. He was an academic All-American at Hampton, Sydney, and he's got this thing going right now. They're won the thing last year, regular season, picked to win it again this year. And he's doing this tonight without 2 of his better players.
Mamadou Njai, the big man, Luke Nelson, the guard, both out, the top 2 scorers. Alex Young with it right now. He's their top scorer who's playing, and he launches it for 3 over Bell. The foul and the rebound called against Irvine.
You can live with that foul. The big fella just wasn't physical, but he got up over the top. Oregon's picked up their defense, which is what they had to do. I think Dana had an idea for how they wanted to play the man-to-man defense coming in. I'm not sure the players felt or quite were tuned in what they needed to do. As a result, they were not as aggressive as they needed to be. You can't just play soft man.
Second foul on Giannis Demokopoulos. Dylan Brooks unable to horse that one home, and Davis, top rebounder for Irvine, comes down with it.
One thing about the big fella, he just keeps his hands straight up, and at 7'2", he's just a really big guy to try to shoot over the top of. You're going to have to elevate or create contact.
Davis against Brooks. Dunning, no look to Young. Got it. You can credit Dominique Dunning with that.
Very unselfish. Good extra pass. One more pass. Both guys were open, and they went to the shooter, and he knocked it down.
Dominique Dunning with that assist. He had played 3 years ago under Steve Alford, UCLA head coach, when the 2 were at New Mexico.
Yeah, let's see if this slows Oregon's momentum down, but they're back in the zone again. You can see that. They're able to do that. Boy, that's a tough shot right there. Good look.
And put back up and in by Jordan Bell.
That's the best. That's really how Jordan Bell's going to score, is on the offensive glass. He should be relentless in there.
11 second chance points for the Ducks to 6 for Irvine. 4-point anteater lead with under 11 to go now. Demokopoulos fumbled it. Out of bounds off of Giannis Demokopoulos. Jordan Bell getting his first bucket on the putback off the Joe Young.
The off arm, so Russ is an emotional coach. That's the way he is. He played that way, he coached that way.
Hampton Sydney, where he scored more than 2,200 points and is still their all-time leading scorer. Russell Turner, in his vehement protestations, he came almost all the way out to the restricted area.
Yeah, official didn't ding him for that. Sometimes they would. Stayed calm.
Ducks trying to stay calm here, trailing it by 4. Elgin Cook, teardrop doesn't fall, and Jaron Martin, the shortest player on the floor, with the rebound.
You can drive into that middle and draw the big, then you've got to look along the baseline for a drop-off and a high percentage shot. I like that shot for Cook, though. I just think they feel like the big fella can handle Bell inside a little bit. It's getting a little wrestling match in there now.
Yeah, he is. Jordan Bell and
See if he gets a call,
Demokopoulos
right?
in a double team.
So maybe there is what the argument gets you, Rich, right there. Maybe that gets you that call.
Foul is on Elgin Cook, his second. Remember, the first one was a technical in the first
So they
half.
doubled right there. Yeah, I think you can't reach like that. It's a good call.
So you think you can buy him, huh?
No. Please don't put words in my mouth.
Okay.
They're just human now. They'll listen. They do miss calls.
Demokopoulos against Bell. Giannis Demokopoulos. Not yet for the sophomore from Patrick Reese. Maybe next
Big
year.
guy like that, you know. Yeah, nice.
Reverse layup, Ahmad Rory.
You screen the big fella out of the way inside. He couldn't get around. Coach Turner going to take a timeout, try to get this thing back into control here a little bit. Starting to slip just a little bit away from him.
At number 10. That's their top ranking since the 98-99 season when they finished at number 6.
Yeah, I think we might have played them that year. Around that time, Rick Majerus was the coach, but 3 teams in the top 25, although Washington may be in danger of slipping outside there a little bit.
Washington will open up Pac-12 play against Cal on Friday right here on the Pac-12 networks at 7 o'clock. Mighty Joe Young.
Davis not getting the quality shot that they were getting early. Playing a little more one-on-one. I don't like that. I think they need to get the ball moving.
Joseph Young commits another turnover. I believe that's 3 for him.
I think they're kind of telegraphing their passes with their eyes. Good defensive players can see.
Souza, oh boy, that ball was straight, just rattled out. Out of bounds off Jaron Martin. Back to the Ducks with 32 on the timer. Ducks got a break right there. Souza will knock that down a lot of the time.
Yeah, you know, you can tell that Oregon's looking at their passing lanes. They're seeing the man they want to pass to, and they're looking right at him. And UCI's getting their hands up and getting deflections. It's good defense.
Joseph Young comes out. Now, he has an excellent assist-to-turnover ratio, but that's his 4th turnover tonight against just 1 assist.
That's what you use ball fakes for. In fact, Coach Altman was preaching that in shoot-around today. We're going to have to use a lot of ball fakes. You've got to move the defender's hands. Not sure who shoots it right here now on the perimeter.
He's going with a windshield wiper right now. And
Cook's a mid-range guy.
Here he is, Elgin Cook. And we got a foul on the rebound, and it's against the Ducks.
Brooks over the top, they called.
Foul on Dylan Brooks.
Better shape and gets used to it. Maybe Jordan Bell can. And then the freshmen are going to have to get better in a hurry. They're going to have to grow up because they're going to play a lot of minutes in this league. And it's a whole different deal when you get into conference play.
4 freshmen for the Ducks, all in the rotation. Jordan Bell, redshirt freshman. The other 3 true freshmen, Casey Benson, Ahmad Rory, and Dylan Brooks. Brooks having an excellent true freshman season. Foul called against Elgin Cook. And for Cook, that is his 3rd.
Casey Benson 0 for 4 with 3 assists, however, but Jordan Bell 7 rebounds. He's got a couple blocks. which I think he moves close to up to second on the list. And of course, Dylan Brooks with 11 points, having an outstanding game.
Irvine leading by 2. Jaron Martin wildly into the lane.
Wow, he bought a foul there. That's just aggressiveness, attacking, creating contact. You tell players all the time, Rich, don't avoid contact, create contact, go to contact. Official has to call it, but if you avoid it, there's no foul.
Elgin Cook comes out. 2 fouls this very possession for UC Irvine, called against the Ducks' Elgin Cook. And so he has 4. Jaron Martin, 9 of 11 from the line coming into this game. His first free throw tonight.
You got to have Cook down the stretch. He's one of your veteran players that can do a number of different things. So with 4 fouls, he can't play soft and let Irvine attack him. So you got to save him for crunch time.
Dwayne Benjamin in for the Ducks.
Jaron Martin doing a nice job, just taking it at him and creating contact and get a little momentum for the Anteaters.
Ducks had a chance to tie or take the lead last time down the floor. Now they trail it by 4.
Just got to locate Young in this thing. You can't give him an inside-outside look, a step-in shot. Of all the guys, he's the one guy that you can't.
We'll see how UC Irvine plays that. Here is Young. It's taken away by Aaron Wright. Aaron Wright trying to finish. He draws the foul on Young.
I didn't see anything untoward there that would cause any concern. I think it was just a hard foul. Good anticipation. No, I think he went for the ball. I think that was a clean play.
Yep. First personal foul on Joseph Young. And Aaron Wright of UC Irvine is our 6th man of the game, brought to you by Motel 6.
I think Coach Turner's checking with him to see if he's got his senses about him, because he wants somebody that can think and feel and has some touch in his hands. You know, if he's hurting, he doesn't want him shooting those free throws.
Some players, coach, just like coming in off the bench. Aaron Wright, as a freshman and sophomore, 61 games, all 61 off the bench. And finally, last game in his 72nd game of his career, he got a start, his only start. And I'm sure you coach some players who like to come in and bring that spark.
I'm not sure anybody really wants to, if you ask it, but some players are just better. And as a teammate, if you're unselfish and you just want your team to be successful, you're willing to do whatever.
Sean Miller using Rondé Hollis Jefferson in that role.
And there's a heck of a 6-man for you. You could start for most anybody in the country.
Isn't that true?
But you get a heck of a lift coming off the bench.
They use Gabe York early on to stretch the defense, and then they bring Hollis Jefferson in to provide that spark. Turned over by the Ducks. That is their 11th.
The soft bounce passes that Oregon is making against this zone are just allowing Irvine to get hands on it, because they're not very crisp. They're pretty soft, pretty slow. Irvine's doing a nice job of reacting to the ball.
That's the 12th turnover on Oregon. They trail it by 5. 6:40 to go. Alex Young playing in front of friends and family with the ball for Irvine. Gives it off to Martin. Around the Davis pick. Jaron Martin deep in the woods. And nothing doing. Jordan Bell.
Nice finish there. Yeah, that's a nice unselfish play by Joseph Young.
Joseph Young dishing it off. And he's really embraced his newfound leadership role this year. The lone senior who plays for the Ducks, Joseph Young.
Well, see, he takes it and he's under control and he just dishes it off right there. If you're going to foul, don't let him score the ball. I mean, if you're going to go up and make a foul, make it a significant foul. Get your money's worth. Let's see who they call the violation on. Calling on Dylan Brooks.
Dylan Brooks. Oh, my. That hurts.
Well, they scored the basket, so it's just a one-point deal. But, just little mistakes. Reminds me a little bit of the Bakersfield-Cal game last night. Clearly, the visitors a little more interested in playing hard. Seems to mean a little bit more to them. Oregon's picking it up, but...
Well, this means a lot to the conference. Pac-12 can ill afford another loss to a mid-major team, even a good one like UC Irvine.
Yeah, there's just a lot of good teams out there playing basketball. There's too many.
Air ball in the 3 by Souza, and Davis trying to save it but can't do it. That was an NBA range 3 by Travis Souza.
Yeah, well, I can't say it's an ill-advised shot because Souza's probably their best 44% three-point shooter, although that might have stretched his range just a little bit.
Irvine has not hit a field goal in more than 5.5 minutes.
We're certainly not getting anything at the basket, that's for sure. So they got to make sure they don't settle. Good ball movement right there. Good penetration.
Excellent
That's how
job.
to beat a zone. There you go. In
Post
the
to
middle,
post.
baseline, attack.
Benjamin to Cook. Ducks back within 1. They trailed by as many as 11. They led by 7 early on.
Look how high up the ball screen's being set. It's 30 feet away from the basket. Hard to get much going when they're that far out.
Alex Young thought a teammate was to his left. Good defense by Dwayne Benjamin.
Well, they're kind of going one-on-one right now, and that's not going to get it done for them. That last possession against the zone was maybe Oregon's best possession all night long. Crisp ball movement. You cannot let the ball penetrate against the zone, whether it be dribble, whether it be pass. Doesn't make any difference. Keep it around the outside. On to a kind of a 1-3-1 stay. High post. Again, it goes inside.
Dwayne Benjamin. Second effort. Dylan Brooks. Well, he fights hard. The native of Toronto. Reverse layup. Elgin Cook. Ducks have their first second-half lead.
Caused by penetration via the pass. It's hard to rebound out of the zone. That's one thing that's for sure. One of the weaknesses of the zone is your rebounding.
13 second chance points for the Ducks. Their last lead was at 26-24. Here's Aaron Wright. And it wouldn't fall. UC Irvine's last field goal came with 11:34 to go. Fouls on Joseph Young, his second.
So ball tipped, rebounded offensively, dished up underneath. Cook goes back up underneath the basket, uses the rim to protect the ball. Nice ball movement, good hustle by the Ducks. So Oregon is double teaming inside on Dimakopoulos, and he was able to get the ball out to the weak side, which allowed Wright to drive.
Aaron Wright, just a 42%er coming in, 5 of 12, small sample size, but a lot of misses. He cans the first, even it up at 50.
What probably went unnoticed there, Rich, is Oregon did have the lead for the first time in a long time. Now we're back down 1, but seem to be much more intelligent in how they're attacking the zone. Combination of players here, Rich, that they like, I think, in terms of their ball movement and the crispness.
They do a good job of sharing the ball. The Ducks are tied for 10th in the nation in assists per game with 17.9. They turn it over here. That is their 11th.
Good decision by Wright there. Didn't have numbers. It was 2 versus 3. He recognized it and pulled it out. Getting the time of the game now where it's crunch time. Every possession is going to be really important. This is where leadership, veterans make a difference. Not double teaming right here, but that's not a good play. I think you got to make him make that shot. I don't think you can go up and get him that too.
UC Irvine with a 53-50 lead, 3:58 to go.
Went way up to get that. So I think you would get most officials make that call the majority of the time, but I'm not so sure it was.
Dwayne Benjamin called for the goaltend. There he is. He'll inbound the ball. Also was a highly regarded wide receiver in high school, Northside High School, Lafayette, Louisiana.
Well, he can really run. I would say this about officials' calls, Rich. Most of them would miss no calls if they had the advantage of replay.
Poor pass by Brooks, batted away by Alex Young. The Ducks' 15th turnover.
It's a well-coached basketball team that anticipated that, probably saw it in the scouting report that they like to run that out of a timeout, and they just stepped up and caught the flare screen.
Will Davis against Benjamin, put Brooks in the air, puts it up over Benjamin and got it to fall.
Will Davis has been pretty impressive. I'd like to see him do a little bit more. He looks to have a lot of ability. He likes the jump hook, which I love. I think it's the best shot in the game for big guys.
He's 5 of 10 from the floor with 10 points.
Anteater's getting a lot of hands-on balls. So he spun back against the pressure and comes back to jump hook.
Dylan Brooks turns it over for the second consecutive possession. Ducks had the lead, but Irvine by 5 again, and the ball with 3 minutes to go.
See, things are getting a little dicey for the Ducks right now. They've got to make a play. And Irvine, with a veteran team with a lot of juniors and seniors out here, seem pretty poised. Got to make sure you get good shots. Called the travel right there. I think that's a good call.
Traveling violation on Aaron Wright. And that's the 10th turnover for UC Irvine.
Fundamentals are so important. Kids sometimes don't understand how important it is in pressure situations to be fundamentally sound.
You just use that term, fundamentally sound. That is one of Dana Altman's favorite phrases.
So he's not sure who's going to shoot the ball right here, but you can't let Young shoot it. You have Benjamin in the corner. Can he make that shot? Absolutely. There you go.
Dwayne Benjamin drains a 3.
That was caused, Rich, by Joseph Young being at the wing that forced the forward up.
2 Heisman Trophy winners will be duking it out. Marietta completed 68.3% of his passes, just 2 interceptions, 38 touchdown passes. Remarkable 186 quarterback rating.
What an incredible career he's had, and the Ducks have sure flourished with having him at that position. Seems like a great leader. You know, the interesting thing, that shot from Benjamin from the corner of that three-pointer, he is a 24% shooter, but big-time players step up in big-time situations where it's needed. So now Irvine's going to have to handle pressure, but they're also going to have to get down the floor and make sure they get a good shot.
Dwayne Benjamin now with that 3, 13 points, ties his career high.
One thing I think that is noteworthy here, Rich, is Irvine just has 4 team fouls. So they've got fouls to give, which could come in handy.
Souza lobs it into Demakopoulos. Giannis Demakopoulos, 7-2 against Elgin Cook.
And they get a second possession.
Alex Young was on the sideline.
That was close to going down. He turned over left shoulder. There's not much Oregon can do about there with their size. I mean, Demakopoulos is so big that if they're not going to bring a second defender, he's able to get a shot. It's a question whether you can make that shot or not.
Giannis Demakopoulos at 7'2", but he's 4 inches shorter than Irvine's tallest player, Mamadou Njai, who has some skills. Their top scorer, but he's been out since the first 5 games of the year with a foot injury. Reverse jam effort by Cook. Couldn't fall, but he got fouled.
Just missed a three-point opportunity right there. Now, Cook, here's where games are won and lost. Just plays like that. Ball almost goes down for Irvine. It doesn't go down. The ball gets kicked out. It's on the line. Now Elgin Cook's got to go to the line and make foul shots. Good call. Maybe need to get to both feet and really explode through that size.
Now 2 of 3 at the line tonight after that miss. 64% are coming in. Fouls on Giannis Demakopoulos. The 3rd personal foul. The native of Greece.
Demakopoulos going to come out right now. The veteran 5th-year senior John Ryan comes in, a transfer from Fresno State. Probably a little more experienced.
Making his 7th start tonight, John Ryan was a reserve player the last couple of years. And so Cook makes 1 of 2 to get the Ducks back within 1 with 1:45 to go.
Every play extremely important right here.
With your Irvine, what do you do here, Mike?
Well, you got to take first good shots. You can't use clock because there's no guarantee that they can get a good shot toward the end. Oregon runs up and tries to trap. Smartly gets back. Don't make them pay. Doesn't cost them anything. They want the ball in Martin's hands. Wow. Little flare screen, little block and roll.
Ryan back to Martin. Jaron Martin wildly into the lane again, and he turns it over.
Yeah. Trying to do a little bit too much, gets knocked off balance. They had some scoring opportunities. Irvine a little bit tight here.
Right idea, I think, trying to take charge.
Ooh, there could have been a call there. There was a reach and there was a forearm reroute. That could have gone Irvine's way if there had been a call there.
1:17 to go. The Ducks trailing it by 1, but they'll have the ball following the timeout. All right, take us inside the Ducks huddle. What are they talking about right now?
Well, it's just about good shot selection. You know Irvine's pretty much going to come out and play in a zone. you've had some success when you're patient, attacking in the middle of the zone and then attacking down on the baseline. They've got to finish strong, but they've got to be patient. It's more important that you get a good shot than just that you get a shot. Because the whole thing, if they score and go ahead, pressure definitely swings to Irvine to have to make a play. So it's...
All right, so what about your former assistant?
Locate young, everybody's got to block off. You basically coach everything you've coached all season long in one 30-second timeout. Just reminders, here's what you have to do. But Irvine has to go to the glass hard. They cannot let Oregon miss and get a second scoring opportunity.
And the Ducks with 13 second chance points tonight.
So here they're trying to get the zone to move.
Elgin Cook.
With Brooks in the middle.
Elgin Cook. We'd like to welcome those of you who've been watching Stanford knock off Arkansas Pine Bluff. UC Irvine, the favorites of the Big West Conference, looking for a second Big West title here in Eugene to take on the Ducks. Ducks had a 9-2 lead early on, and in the second half, UC Irvine had an 11-point lead. The Ducks were able to erase all of that. Then Irvine took a 5-point lead again, and they lead by 1 now.
Oh,
Travis Souza.
Huge shot right there. Russ Turner gets a timeout. Irvine lets him, forces him to use some clock, fouls him. Now they have to take it out of bounds, and then the clock gets even low. And if it ever gets below 5 seconds and they're still up 3, they're going to go for the common foul and make Oregon shoot 2 free throws.
Is that the way you played it?
If we get all that explained, but that's why veteran kids, they know all this stuff. Once you introduce that to them, they get it. Oregon's got to go fast. They've got to try to create a situation. And then obviously if they don't make a shot, Oregon's got to try to get after the glass, and then they got to foul.
And as you mentioned, they don't need a 3. They just need the first good shot they can
Absolutely. They're going to flare Joseph Young over the backside. That's something Oregon's done forever, is a double flare on the side.
Elgin Cook taking it to Benjamin with a hand in his face.
Oh,
Benjamin knocks it down.
How critical a shot is that? All right, so
here's step up.
Well, they've got to. That's what has to happen. And Benjamin's been a really good player for them all season long. And boy, was that ever huge. And he was actually fairly well defended in the corner.
Who does Irvine go to here?
I think they've got to penetrate from the top.
Right now, Alex Young, Oregon native from about 2.5 hours south of here, the tiny community of Phoenix. 4,500 people in that town, and a pretty good percentage of them are here. It could be him that gets that final shot for Irvine, the Oregon native Alex Young.
First, they got to get it in bounds, obviously. They do have a timeout. 7 seconds is a lifetime. It's an eternity.
Here's
high ball
screen.
screen. Oh, my.
Alex Young airballed the 3. The Oregon native with a chance to win it. Didn't draw iron. And we're heading to overtime here. 1-0 this year, 4-0 last year, 2-0 2 years ago. Their last loss in OT was in December of 2012. A triple overtime loss at UTEP.
Well, it seems to me that Oregon actually is I don't know if they're getting better shots, but they're making shots right now, whereas Irvine's having a little bit of a difficult time getting the shots that they've wanted. Although Sousa little mid-range was a really nice shot to put them up 3. But that's a tough break for if you're Irvine, because they really were in great shape. Thought they could have gotten a better shot than that with that much time on the clock.
Foul trouble for the Ducks. Elgin Cook playing with 4. Dylan Brooks playing with 3. And for Irvine, Giannis Dimakopoulos has 3.
There's that special out of bounds, out of a timeout right there. Back screen lob, didn't get it.
Underneath the Benjamin from Elgin Cook.
Irvine's having a hard time locating the baseline runner down in there. Their center's stepping up and taking the high post, and the Benjamin in this case just runs in the baseline.
Young skips it over to Jaron Martin. Against Joseph Young. Nice move by Jaron Martin. Wow.
He's pretty good. He likes to go to his left, and he
Young tried to dish to Benjamin, trying to do too much. He turns it over for the 5th time tonight.
Looks like he wanted the lob, but he didn't put it up high enough to get it. Goodness gracious sakes alive.
Boy, he feels it, doesn't he, Jaron
Apparently.
I guess you like guys who take charge, but maybe
I'm
not
a little
that
deeper
much.
than a guy might like that early in the shot clock. Not really even open. You got to locate the guy on the baseline. You can see Cook down there. See
Brooks and one. Dylan Brooks. Huge play for the true freshman from Mississauga, Ontario.
a lot of good players coming out of Canada. You see Cook right there, finds a guy breaking down the middle. Guards have to really sink. When the ball gets penetrated down on the baseline, everybody has to sink down and pick up cutters coming through. So Oregon's doing a nice job, you know, at last finding the seams in the zone at the high post or on the short corner on the baseline, and that's where they've been attacking successfully.
Brooks, an 82%er coming in. Foul was on Jaron Martin, his third. The Ducks with a 3-point lead. 3:40 to go in OT.
Lead. That might be Oregon's biggest lead.
Since the first half, they had a 9-2 lead early on.
Sure, yeah.
They trailed by 11 in the second half. Demakopoulos, big size advantage on Dwayne Benjamin. Tipped up by Davis, and they call Will Davis for the foul.
Demakopoulos is palming the ball with that one hand when he turns. It's not really a hook shot. It's a turn, and it's kind of a short shot. And that's a hard shot to shoot, especially if you got big hands like he has. So he's kind of palming the ball. Hasn't had a lot of luck with that. Here comes John Ryan back in the game. So obviously they wanted to go to him offensively. Here's where it's starting to get away from Irvine just a little bit. Could stretch it to 5.
Again, Irvine without their top two scorers. Mamadou Njai, the tallest player in the nation at 7'6", averaging 12 points a game in his 5 games before the injury. There's Mamadou from Dakar, Senegal. Also without Luke Nelson, a native of Worthing, England. A facial injury a couple of days ago. They hope it's not serious.
You know, it's not so much the 7-foot size or the numbers that Njai brings to the table. He intimidates people. You just don't go into paint with him in there. Changes the whole game.
But made them both. Ducks have their biggest lead since early in the first half. 5-point advantage, 3:14 to go in the OT. Looking for their 8th consecutive overtime win, dating back to December of 2012. Alex Young over Benson. Rattles it home.
Right there. Good DHO to a block and roll, and then the guy rolls up behind the roll replace. Center has to take and help in on the roller, and bang, 3 points.
Young, the Oregon native, couldn't hit the game winner as time expired, but he hits a big shot here in the OT to get his team back within 2. Just over 2.5 to go. Here's Joseph Young. Can he answer? Short, and the rebound, Will Davis. Joseph Young, 3 of 13, 2 of 8 on threes.
Not getting his legs into his shots. He's just coming up a little bit short. Run those pick and rolls and running the center down the middle. I like that matchup right there to see if Davis can do anything with it. Benson, good job coming back inside. Jump ball should be Irvine's ball.
Possession arrow points the way of Irvine. A held ball.
Good smart play by Benson to drop down and create that. So there's the roll. Comes up behind the roller. Benson's late getting out. Nice offense.
12 on the timer for UC Irvine, trailing it by 2 in overtime with 2:15 to go. Jaron Martin over Joe Young. Air ball. Again, Coach, you want those players who want to take that big shot.
Yeah.
But
you know, he's a 56% three-point shooter by numbers. Statistically, 82 free throws, so he's obviously a good shooter. But that thing barely drew Jim. I mean, it missed everything. In that situation, I'm just not sure that's the shot you want, unless it's the only shot you can get.
Casey Benson. Put back up by Benjamin, tipped by Cook. Crowd claiming John Ryan was out of bounds. 3 opportunities for the Ducks, they couldn't score.
Hope they got better vision than I do, because I couldn't see it. And it's tied.
How about that? Alex Young rolls one home. 5 straight points for the Oregonian Alex Young. They even it up at 64.
Almost traveled right there. See that baseline.
Elgin Cook unable to finish, but he did draw the foul.
Again, the foul
John Ryan.
shooting percentages, yeah.
Did John Ryan go out of bounds?
Can't see from here. Officials right there. The right foot doesn't come down. He didn't. Ooh.
Very close.
Yes, it was. Ooh.
Elgin Cook's first rattles out. Now 5 of 7 from the line tonight. Came in as a 64%er. The Ducks as a team, second in the conference, 74% from the free throw line.
You've got 2 pretty quick jumpers for Oregon there. If you're Irvine, you got to get bodies on.
Cook makes 1 of 2 to put the Ducks back up by 1.
So they obviously like Demacopoulos better offensively than they do John Ryan. Maybe they don't like him quite as much in the zone because they're kind of making offense-defense substitutions. But again, now it's possession by possession.
Giannis Demacopoulos, the 7-2 player from Patra, Greece, with 8 points on 4 of 9 shooting tonight. 1 minute left in the OT. Souza blocked by Bell. Davis lost it. Here come the Ducks.
Okay, now they just have to get a good shot.
Good patience.
Plenty of time. They can't panic. They can't run the clock out and just try to get a last shot. They've got to get the best shot they can get. If it goes down, it really puts a lot of pressure on Irvine with either a 3 or a 4-point lead. If they miss, Irvine's going to get a chance to win.
Timeout call by the Ducks.
Shot clock at 12, 18-second differential.
A block, in fact, his 4th of the night.
That was a good block. He just reached out and got it and stayed off his arm.
Jordan Bell now with 43 blocks this season. That is second all-time in the Ducks' annals. Single-season blocks, and 8 shy of Tony Woods from back in 2011-12.
Whole lot of stuff going on right now. A whole lot of things that can happen. Oregon's got to come out with a special right here. Baseline to Young.
Young over right.
Ball game.
Swish! Joseph Young.
That's why he gets paid the big bucks. The great clutch shot right there. That doesn't go down. Irvine has a chance to win.
Aaron Wright. Young back to right. Timeout called by Russell Turner and UC Irvine.
Yeah, you can't run a whole lot of time down, because then even what happens and you foul, you're not going to be able to get it out of bounds and get a shot anyway. So you got to go aggressively to the basket and try to kick for a 3, or else you just got to take it and try to create a foul, maybe get a 3-point play.
Again, the possession arrow points the Ducks' way. Now the Anteaters with a 30-second timeout left. The Ducks with a full. Each team in the bonus. 10 seconds left in the OT. Ducks lead by 4. Anteaters inbound. Demacopoulos. Souza for 3.
Ooh, big shot.
Drains it.
Last time out for Irvine, that was so. Coach Turner's looking at percentages, saying, okay, we absolutely have to deny Joseph Young. He can't catch the ball because that's almost an automatic too. Cook would be a nice candidate to get that ball. Corey Benson would be a nice candidate to get the ball, although Benson's going to take it out, so he's not going to get it. So you're looking at probably Cook as a guy you'd like to catch the ball. Maybe Benjamin if he was a guy, but he's not going to get anywhere close to the basketball.
Let's see what they do.
They're trying to foul over here, and the referee's not going to call this thing. Say,
and it's Dylan Brooks. Now, he's their second best free throw shooter at 82% coming in, but he's a true freshman.
Yeah, well, they tried to foul over here. They tried to grab Benjamin. The official wouldn't let him get away with that. They actually fouled him aggressively. It's like the hack-a-shack deal, you know, where you foul him and official knows you and he calls it. Official didn't call it over here. So there's still going to be plenty of time for Irvine to get an opportunity to shoot a 3 to tie if he makes them both. If he doesn't make them both, well then Irvine could get a 2 to tie or a 3 to win. So there's still lots of things that could go on right here.
Dylan Brooks, 2 of 2 at the line tonight. 29 of 35 this year. Came in as an 82%er.
From what I've seen of Dylan Brooks, I think these are going to go down. He's been awfully good.
You hear Russell Turner shouting, "Get in there."
Well, they absolutely can't afford to not rebound it cleanly. You cannot afford not to rebound this cleanly and get out on a run. Now, again, if you're Oregon, you're probably going to foul, not let them even tie you.
One more.
Make him go to the line.
For the true freshman, Dylan Brooks. Missed the second one.
3 to win. Got to go. Keep going.
Alex Young, the Oregon native, to win it, and he missed. And the Ducks escape with a victory, their 8th consecutive overtime win dating back to December.